Hey everybody, how you all doing? So today I'm actually going to show you how to flush a tankless water heater. This is our tankless water heater. We've had it now for maybe about 7 years or so. And once a year I do a flush to remove calcium and lime buildup that's goes on in the heat exchanger and all of the other piping within the actual system. And it's also recommended to do this once a year. Now, depending on where you live, you may have to do it more frequently. That's something that you can probably do a search on the internet for, or just check with your local like Home Depot, Lowe's, or anybody that installs these and maintains them, and they can kind of advise you as how often you should do it. So what I'm going to show you is the tools you'll need, or the equipment that you'll need, as well as how to do it. So here's the supplies that you're going to need. You're going to need a 5-gallon bucket that's clean. I designate this one specifically for flushing our tankless water heater. I don't use it for anything else, so that'll be a good idea because they don't cost that much. 3 to 4 gallons of white distilled vinegar. You're going to need 2 hoses, one for, and it doesn't matter which one for the cold water side and one for the hot water side. One hose is going to have just the female and then the male adapter. On the other hose, you're going to need both female attachments on the end. So what you can do is buy your hose, cut off the male end of it, and they have these female attachments that you can buy separate. Buy that, and then just buy a hose clamp for it. And then you're going to need a utility pump, which is, this is the one that I have. It's 1/3 horsepower, and the size of the outlet here is 1 1/4 in size. So I just wanted to kind of show you this here because this did not come with the owner's manual for the water heater, and this is basically the lime and scale flushing procedure as to how to do it. So I'll try to find this again because I had to find it on the internet, and I'll post a link to it if I can. If not, yeah, just do pause the video here, and you should be able to see it. Read all of the different procedures as far as step 1 all the way through. So the first thing you want to do is turn off the power. In our case, it's just press the button. Next, you want to turn off the gas going to the water heater. So in our case, you turn it just like that. Next, you want to turn off the main water, cold water that's actually coming into the water heater, which in our case is right here. This is the main valve for it. And the way you can tell is all you have to do is follow the cold water line all the way down, and you see how it goes up. So as you can see, these are the valves here. So blue is cold, red is hot. So all I have to do is just push this down like that. You want to go ahead and shut off the cold and hot water valves that goes into the main piping here. So what you want to do is turn it like this and turn it like that, okay, on ours. Okay, and the reason for this is because once I'm going to hook up my hoses to these 2 ports here. Once I do that, I want it to go up, travel through and come out here. I don't want it to go into the main line here, which is, this is the hot water outlet pipe here. So, and then the same with this one here. This is the cold water inlet pipe. So that's the reason why you want to shut these off here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take off this cap here. And if you notice, you see that I actually have the valve is closed on here. This is actually a washer, so you want to make sure that the washer is not stuck in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually open this, and you're going to see water pour out. At least that's what's supposed to happen, you know, because there's still water inside of the actual water heater here. Okay, so then next, I'm going to take my hose, which is right here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach it. Now, most of the time you could just do this hand tight, but I like to give it one good turn once I'm done hand tightening just to make sure that, you know, that it's tight. It's pretty tight. Okay, so now I'm going to take the other end of the hose, and remember, this is the cold water side, and I'm going to attach it to the top of the sub pump. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to connect the hose to the hot water side. Again, I'm going to get my bucket here. Okay, this one's on kind of good. So it's a good idea to have some channel locks so that you'll be able to take these off in case if you have a problem. Again, you want to make sure that the rubber gasket is off, and then you want to open it, and so drain all the water out. It's very important that when you're doing this procedure that you go in through the cold water side, the same flow of water, just how it is as if you were actually using the unit. And you got to make sure that you also have both of these valves open, because if you don't, it's not going to flush. Okay, so then I'm going to screw this on. Actually, let's take this out first, so I'm not going to need that. So, you know, it's real simple and easy to do. I mean, anybody can do it. You don't need a professional to come in and do this. Real simple. All right, let me take you over to the other side. Okay, so then you just insert the other end into the bucket. You want to make sure the hose is going to be submerged in the vinegar, which in my case right here is about correct. Forgot to also say you need to have a clamp. I like to use this one here because it grabs, and then also it doesn't restrict the actual hose here. So the reason for it is because if you don't do this, the hose is going to go flying everywhere. I made that mistake the first time I did the flush, and I had vinegar just spraying all over here, and the whole basement smelled like vinegar for like a whole week. I had to air it out using you know, just having the windows open down here, so not fun. So next I'm gonna go ahead and pour in the vinegar. So yeah, I really like, I love our water heater. One of the challenges that we had was always not having enough hot water when our kids were taking showers. And I mean, these were showers, these weren't even baths. And, you know, me and my wife will end up not having hot water, or we'll run out of hot water. as we were taking our bath, I mean not a bath, but a shower, and it just began to be a problem. So when our tank water heater finally gave out, we went on ahead and, you know, decided to just go this route, because you literally do have endless hot water as long as you have electricity and you have the gas supplied to the water heater, and as well as water. And now we don't have that issue. Don't have that issue at all. And this is probably the one thing that you have to do, that's really simple, you know, for it. That's pretty much it, you know. So yeah, I really like it. Another thing you want to remember is that don't have this plugged in before you're ready to use it, because if you do, because there is no on-off switch. As soon as you plug it in, it starts running. So everything is checked out. I've done everything. I've pulled on my hose to make sure it's not going to fly out. As you can see, the depth of the actual vinegar, so it's pretty good. And you look over there, you see my hoses. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually go ahead and I'm going to plug it in right here. This is actually our sub pump for the basement. I'm going to plug it in here. That way I don't have to use an extension cord. And now you see. So it's going through the system. It bubbles up like that in the beginning, and then that's it. So it's coming in through here, going through the water heater, going through the heat exchanger, all the piping, and then it's coming back in here. So it's a constant loop, and it's circulating everything. Let me show you one last thing. Another thing you want to do once a month is there's a filter in here. Once this is done flushing, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to show you. It's like a little screen. This needs to be changed. This needs to be cleaned once a month. Just, you know, hot soap and warm water, and that's it. It's important to do it because it does catch stuff. So yeah, you know, so just a little maintenance tip. So that's pretty much it, you know. I'll come back and I'll show you how you can actually flush the vinegar out of the system once this is done. I'm gonna let this run for an hour. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, so it's been an hour now, and what I did was the hot water hose, I took it out of the bucket there, and I went on ahead and put it over there in the sink, and it clamped it, because what I'm going to do is hold on, Joseph. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the cold water to flush out the water heater, and I have to do that for 5 minutes. So I turned the valve closed on the hot water side because I didn't want any, you know, thing to spill out, because actually I disconnected this hose. So I'm actually going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to close this because, again, I don't want anything to come out when I disconnect this hose. And so when I come back, I will have this hose taken off. As you can see, I have the hose off. I put the cap back on. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to open this valve here. Oh man, it's kind of hard now. I don't know why these things are so hard. Whew. Okay. I'm going to keep this closed because, you know, I don't have anything connected here, so I'm not trying to have the water to come this way. And then I'm going to open up the hot water side for the hose part, this here, but I'm going to keep the bottom one closed because I don't want water going into the actual system here. I'm just trying to flush the vinegar out of the water heater, and I'm going to turn the valve on just a little bit, and it's not on full, so you know, see, So as you can see, and I don't have the valve all the way open. So this is how you're able to actually flush the system out. And it says do it for 5 minutes. I don't think I'm gonna do it for 5. I'll probably just do it for a minute or two, and everything. So when I come back, I'm gonna show you how to clean that little filter. Okay, so I'm all done. So I'm gonna go ahead. I've already turned off the main water supply to the water heater, and I'm going to go ahead and shut this valve. I'm going to open this one here on the bottom, because remember, when the knob is facing the way that the pipe is going, that's how you know that it's on. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead, actually I'm going to get my bucket here, I'm going to put that on here just in case if this water comes out, because you see it's pressurized. So yeah, you see how the water's coming out of there. Not much, but still, I'm not trying to get water on the floor. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure the rubber cap is there, which it is. And I'm going to go ahead and put the cap on.
Daddy?
Yes, Joseph?
I'm making bubbles.
You making bubbles? Yeah, I think those are cool. I actually thought you were out of bubbles. I actually thought you were out of bubbles. Okay. Now, this right here. Let me go get my pliers. Okay, so all you gotta do is just get some pliers and kind of get it started, and then yeah, in my case, sometimes water is going to come out of here, but in my case it might not, only because I'm flushing the system and I don't have water going in. When you do fix this, just wait, Joseph. When you do take this out, you want to make sure that you turn off the main water going into the actual system, because if you don't, water's going to come like everywhere. Alright, so can you see how it's dripping now? Okay, alright. See, it was pressurized. So, yeah, so I made a mess. So here it is right here. So this is the filter. So this is what needs to be cleaned, and it's easy. You just take it off of here, go clean it, rinse it off in the sink once a month, and then come and put it back, and that's it. Okay, so mine's is already clean, so I'm actually good. So I'm gonna go ahead and thread this back in here, and I think the reason why it came out like that was because it was pressurized in there. So yeah, and you don't really need any pliers or tools to tighten it back up, but when you take it off, you do. Okay, so I've got everything all closed up now. The top valves the service ports are closed. The supply going into the water heater and going out are both open, and now I'm gonna turn on the lever. I'm gonna turn the gas back on, and then I'm gonna turn on the power, and then that's it. So let me show you how dirty the actual vinegar is that came out of the water heater. So as you can see, the water, it may not come out too clear, but it's kind of a bluish green on here, and I'm just pouring it right from the bucket into the actual strainer here with a napkin that kind of, I don't see a lot of like chunks of stuff, but the water is definitely like a bluish green. So anyway, that's how you maintain and flush your water heater. Make sure that you rinse out all of your equipment and tools and stuff You know, just run hot water over them, and then let them air dry before you put everything in the 5-gallon bucket. So, and this is how I store everything in the bucket here. So as you can see, I have both hoses, I have my little clamp down there, and the ejector pump right here, and you have the lid, and so that way close it, seal it up until the next time when you need it. And that's how you flush a tankless water heater. So I hope this video was educational for you. My prayer is that this will be able to save you on yearly maintenance where you can do it yourself. You know, it's not hard or anything. It could be a little time consuming the first time you do it, but once you do that, it should be pretty simple and easy. And yeah, so if you have any questions, comments, or anything, post them down in the comment section. If you have any additional things that you may do to flush your water heater and what type, I ask that you will post that in the comments as well, so that way it'll help other people out. So until the next time, you guys have yourself a blessed day.